Yo guys, what is up? It's P from PTV and welcome back to the second episode of my Outriders demo review. I told you in the last one that I was really looking forward to going over all the different classes and reviewing those for you guys. In today's episode, we're going to be going over the Pyromancers. Like in the last one, I told you, this is probably the one that I was most excited about playing. If nothing else, just for the aesthetic appeal that all the skills bring. I want to throw some gameplay up on the screen as I go through this. I'm going to do an episode for each and every class, but today is specific towards the Pyromancer. So, we're going to start with prefacing this by saying that I believe Outriders as a whole, I went into the game thinking that you had to go and pick a certain class to play as one of the, one of those classic builds, as in like the tank or the healer support or the glass cannon type. And I'm starting to get a feel now that I've played with specifically the Pyromancer and then a couple characters off to the side. I'm starting to get a feel that you could probably make tank versions, support versions, glass cannon versions of every single one of them. I think that some might be better suited than others, but I feel like if you have a playstyle, if you are interested in one class way more than the others and you think it just matches your playstyle better, you can sort of respec your character. You know, if you got some friends and one's a tank and you got to play support, you could respec your character however you want to in order to sort of appease whatever party that you're with. So let me preface everything by saying that he did strike me. The Pyromancer did, as sort of the, the typical glass cannon build. I'm going to start by going over the skills a little bit and just kind of walking you through that one. The first one that we're going to go over is the Heat Wave. The Heat Wave is pretty sweet, aesthetically pleasing, like I said, as most all of his skills are. It sends a wall of flames just directly in a straight line, so you got to aim it a little bit. The good news about this is, I did notice that the skill itself was able to sort of like tier up in levels, so if you had enemies that were like on a second story to you, you were able, that shoot, at least as far as the demo is concerned, pretty decent skill. At level 7 I was able to cast it twice. I don't remember if that was due to the items that I had equipped or it was just a natural, double cooldown for it. 13 seconds is a natural cooldown. Should be able to use it plenty. Okay, next up we've got Feed the Flames. Feed the Flames is sort of the one that I didn't really use the most. I sort of stuck to like a mid-range style of play when I used this character, and Feed the Flames is one where I do believe it's an interrupter skill, which is cool. It immobilizes them just for a brief second, and maybe down the line when we get into like the more open version of the game, that sort of immobilization is going to, you'll have the ability to make that last longer, which in turn would make the skill even better. But I didn't want the enemies super close to me, if I'm being honest, so I didn't really use this one too much. I do see a way in which that would be super helpful, given eventually you'll be able to unlock certain aspects of the skill that'll improve it. Moving on, we've got Thermal Bomb. This is actually the one that I had the most fun with. And Thermal Bomb, what it does, I assigned it to my right bumper. You click right bumper, you hit the ground real cool like you're some kind of superhero, and it marks one of the enemies. Now, when you mark the enemy, they stand out more so than the rest of the enemies that you had ignited, right? And so you know which one to be going for it. Now, what I like to do is I like to get some of the enemies round up into a nice big group, hit one of them with that, and then focus fire on that. And as soon as they die, you get this really cool animations where they sort of like float up in flames and then eventually like nuke, ignite, and then everybody around them typically dies. There were very few instances where that was ignited and it blew up and the surrounding enemies didn't just immediately die. Most of this is good for like AoE and ads and things like that. Didn't really affect the boss at the end of the demo as much as I would have liked, but very good for clearing out rooms. The final skill that we got for the demo is called Overheat, and this one right here is the one that sort of got me thinking that if I wanted to play a tank version of this, I totally could, right? And the Overheat, what it does is immediately, within a large radius, pretty much the entirety of that initial battlefield which you're standing on, I mean, it might have been up to like 50 yards. I was able to cast this thing and immediately everybody was knocked back and ignited, right? And as I was saying, if you ignite the enemies, then you can immediately start leeching life from the enemies, right? So if I wanted to make a tank version of this build and get up close and personal with people, I'd immediately do that, ignite everybody around me, and then start dealing damage. I could see myself being able to sustain life just off of that leech life aspect alone. As a mid-range character, at least the way that I played him, I was able to do this, and when I did play in a party, most of my time was solo, but when I did play in a party, I had a Trickster and another Pyromancer that I was playing with, and they were doing hella damage. I was igniting this when I got in trouble. They were doing the killing, and I was still able to get some health returned to me. So very, very useful skill. Not one where you're dealing a whole lot of damage, but the functionality of the skill itself is very, very good. So let's move on over to classes, and we're seeing a huge tree right here, a huge tree. Some of the stuff that I did some research on as far as what we're going to be able to do with this, and what's available to us in game, and when the actual game drops towards the end of next month, I heard 20 class points is what we're going to be able to get, which is a little bit underwhelming considering I'm looking at this, what seems to be a pretty large skill tree. That seems kind of underwhelming. In the demo, it was even more underwhelming. We only got the 2, so you can only kind of bleed into, you know, whichever side of the tree you wanted for so much. You'll notice that the tree has this like chutes and ladders aspect. Maybe I'm aging myself if you don't know what that is. It's an old school board game, but you can go down one portion of the tree and then see these arrows right here are able to kind of shoot up to a different portion of the tree and unlock certain other skills that you might actually enjoy too. So I saw lots of like, hey, cooldowns, anomaly, damage increase. There's another aspect of the tree that was, hey, you can bolster the weapon damage and so on and so forth. Me personally, the way that I would like to play this, if I'm going towards a glass cannon build, I'm going cooldowns and damage, baby. I'm doing that every single day of the week. That's where I feel like this build's true potential lies. Again, you can make different builds out of this class, but for me, if I'm going to play Pyromancer first, I'm trying to light the entire world on fire with this class setup on top of the skills that we haven't even... I don't even have the names for them. If you hover over them in the skill tree, you can't get the names for them. So, very, very excited. My time with the Pyromancer, I probably poured about 8 hours into him, max his level, got all the class points. Everything that I'm wearing is blue. I did hear in the demo that you're able to unlock different legendary items. Not unlock, but you could loot different legendary items. Of course, they were scaled down in level to you, so there was nothing that was like super duper OP that you're carrying into the real version of the game. I am still looking for that, and I do plan on doing a different review for every single class. So if you're looking forward to that, man, please go ahead and smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel for more content. If you guys want to see me do this type of stuff live, I do run some Outriders on stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/its_PTV. You can find a link down in the description below. I appreciate everybody who took the time to watch at this point. You guys are rock stars, and I'll see y'all in the next one, man. Later.